You are tuned in to the NUC NFL Draft Bible Players Spotlight Show.
Welcome back to another episode of the NUC NFL Draft Bible Player Spotlight Show presented by the College Gridiron Showcase and Symposium. We've already began gearing up for the 2017 College Gridiron Showcase as we recently dropped our watch list, which can be viewed at NFLDraftBible.com and or CGSAllstar.com, where it isn't too late to nominate players. The 2017 College Gridiron Showcase kicks off on January 7th and goes on through January 11th in Bedford, Texas. For the best NFL draft coverage, visit NFLDraftBible.com. Established in 2002, NFL Draft Bible has been bringing you the names that you need to know first since 2002. As always, I am your host, Chris Shanafelt, and it's a pleasure to welcome on to the Player Spotlight Show this evening one of the top defensive backs in the FCS. He's the safety out of Princeton. That's right, we're hitting up the Ivy League, where we can find Dorian Williams, one of the better players in the entire conference. Dorian, we appreciate you taking some time this evening. How's it going?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. And Dorian, you're getting ready for a big senior season. I'll start off the interview by asking you it's pretty simple. I mean, what are your expectations for this upcoming season? I know that you want to go out on a high note. What are you expecting out of yourself and your teammates this coming season?
We just want to capitalize off the last two seasons. Freshman year, we came in and we had an opportunity to win the conference championship, or at least a share of it. And the past 2 years, we haven't been so lucky. So we definitely want to capitalize off of those two seasons. And number one goal always is conference championship. That's kind of our motto. That's how we bought into our program. That's what everybody's thinking. Our defense is looking great, very, very veteran. We graduated a few DBs, but other than that, our defense is pretty solid and had a great spring ball. Offense, again, graduated a few linemen, but other than that, skill position's back. They worked hard during spring ball. We all looked good. So I think the expectation is kind of the Ivy League championship. That's what everybody wants. That's what everybody's working for. We don't have a chance to play in the FCS playoff game. So that's our big playoff game. That's what we want to do.
Yeah. I mean, it's boom or bust for you guys and really everybody in the Ivy League. The offseason is coming to an end as your guys' first game is just over 2 months away, September 17th against Lafayette. What have you been doing in the offseason to kind of better your game and to make sure you're ready come mid-September?
So when we leave for the season, we kind of have our sit-downs with our coaches, and they point out what the positives and the negatives were throughout the season and throughout spring ball. So I talked with my position coach and I talked to my head coach about certain things that I need to work on, such as, tracking the ball or going up and high pointing. So I've definitely been working on explosion this offseason. I've been watching a lot of film, self-critiquing a lot. I've probably watched each game 5 times plus, just looking at little things, looking at ways to, maybe secure a tackle or get off a block better, or even just kind of be like a field general better. So just certain things that I see in film, I just look at and basically self-critique everything that I can in order to be the best player I can be and in order to work towards the goals that my coaches and myself have.
Dorian, it seems like year in and year out, you never know what you're going to get out of the Ivy League. I mean, anybody can come out on top, and the last time you guys were Ivy League champs was back in 2013 when you were a freshman. If I'm not mistaken, you guys were co-champs along with Harvard. Do you feel that the team that you guys have together right now has what it takes to win the Ivy League this time around? I mean, what all will have to go into you leaving Princeton out on top?
I absolutely think that we have. Ever since we came into the class, we've always been very close, and I believe that we've always believed that we were very talented. We also came in under a great senior leadership team, so we saw and we've been around kind of the mentality and the preparation that it takes for an Ivy League championship, and that's something that I think you can definitely see throughout our offseason and even spring ball. Our seniors and our juniors have had a tremendous amount of leadership, and you see the younger guys buying into it. So I think we need the freshmen coming in to buy into the culture that the seniors and the juniors are trying to continue that we had coming in freshman year. So that's one of the big things, but I think we need to stay together and just trust one another and play in tandem with one another, because that ultimately, I mean, football's a team game. It's the only true team sport. You can't just have someone go out there and dominate. So I think we need both sides of the ball to really trust each other and play as a team rather than trying to be individuals. But I absolutely do believe that we have what it takes to be the Ivy League champion. And I know we're going to be counted as an underdog this year, which I love. I love being the underdog. So I know we're excited. We have a fire. It's crazy. It's gonna be a great year.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. I could hear the excitement in your voice, and you mentioned the underdog mentality. You guys maybe many people may not expect too much out of the Princeton Tigers this season, but as I've said once before, I mean, you cannot count out anybody in the Ivy League year in and year out. Looking at what you guys were able to do last season, Dorian, you guys started the season guns blazing. I mean, very hot at 4-0, but you guys would then lose 5 out of your next 6. Had a record of 1-4 on the road and 2-5 against conference opponents. What would you say is the reasoning for the downfall you guys had in the second half of the season last year?
I mean, as cliche as it sounds, injuries killed us.
Mm-hmm.
We had a few key injuries on defense and offense that kind of hurt us a little bit, but ultimately I think it comes down to us finishing. Like you said, we lost 5 of the last 6 games, but 4 of those games were lost by 7 or less, and one of those games was lost in overtime. So it's basically we need to find a way to finish, and that's one thing that we focus a lot on in spring ball, and that we've been stressing throughout the summer, just talking to each other, that finishing is key. You need to play, 4 quarters, 5 quarters. You might need to play another overtime. You never know. But, I think finishing is kind of where our downfall was. Our defense, obviously, we let up touchdowns in the fourth quarter, and that can't happen in a close game. So that's something that I have been stressing to our defense, and I know everybody's kind of believing that in order to win the games, defense wins championships. So our defense has really, really been grinding and trying to focus on, making the next play and finishing the next play in order to secure a win rather than lose by 7 points, like we did 4 times last year.
Mm-hmm. Again, he's the Princeton Tigers safety, Dorian Williams, joining me here on the NUC NFL Draft Bible Player Spotlight Show presented by the College Gridiron Showcase. And Dorian, talk about the difficulty, if you could, of balancing an Ivy League education along with being on the football team. I mean, I have to think there's a lot of sleepless nights during the season. Is it really as tough as advertised?
Ivy League is no joke. It's a lot of hard work, but honestly, if you look at our team GPA in season and out of season, people have better GPAs in season, myself included. It's just when you get on that set schedule and you kind of know when you have to get things done, it's a motivation tool, and you can't really procrastinate much. But, it takes time management for sure. Freshman year was very tough. I came from a not-so-great academic school, and I came from a small football school, so kind of taking the jump into FCS football along with the prestigious Princeton education was something that I struggled with at first. But, you kind of lean on your mentors, you lean on the older guys, and you find a way to get it done. Ultimately, like I said, it's time management. It's hard, but it's not impossible. If you allot yourself enough time to get things done, you can get it done. But if you wait till the last second, then that's when the sleepless nights come. And obviously in season, you don't want any of those. So everybody's pretty diligent when they get their work. They want to get it done. They want to be able to focus on football. So it's not you're not stressed with too much stuff at one point in time.
Yeah, it certainly sounds as if Ivy League, you guys take it up a whole nother level. And I'll be completely honest with you, Dorian. I don't know if I'm suited for that, man. I don't know if I could do it, but you're obviously doing a fantastic job at it. And this is a very simple question. But what would you say is your favorite part about playing the safety position?
I think the way we play with our free safety is just you're kind of like a rover. I don't know. I just love being able to just help out wherever I can. I like to be able to be versatile. They put me down in the box. They put me back, deep third. I just like being able to be around and kind of see the field, be like a field general. You have really good vision in the back. It's easy to, I step down, I'm able to get in the box. I'm able to run out. I'm able to cover. I don't know. I just kind of like being able to, have the freedom of the position is kind of my favorite thing. There's so much that you can do with your safeties, and that's what I love. It's just I'm biased obviously, but I think it's the best position on the field. So.
Yeah, hey, I would agree with you there. It's one of my favorite, or probably my favorite position to kind of watch and scout out is the safeties and really the defensive backs as a whole. Your first year, though, Dorian, suiting up for the Princeton Tigers, you were actually playing some linebacker. How difficult was it at all to make that position change to safety?
Well, the way I played freshman year, I played our nickel. So basically, it's like a glorified linebacker / defensive back. They would take off a linebacker, and I'd move to outside linebacker. So the transition was, I wouldn't say it was difficult, but it's just different. There's a different mentality when you're at safety as opposed to linebacker. But with that being said, I still do play a lot of nickel, so you'll see me down a lot. I'm not always in the back, so I didn't forget those roots. But I'd say the transition was just it's just a lot of film studying. We had a great senior leader at the free safety spot when I was a freshman. He was one of our captains, so he just provided, I would talk to him out of season. When he graduated, he would give me insight and tips that he learned throughout the season and throughout his time playing. So he helped me there. And I guess just like I said, film study. I always write down stuff. Like I said, I'm very, very, very self-reflective. So even if coach doesn't point out anything in the film, I'll write something down and ask him about it later, just because it's something that I want to make sure. I like to make sure that I have things pretty much routine in my head. So when things happen in the game, I'm able to react rather than think. So, it's mostly film study. I'm big on film. It's my thing. I like to, like the eye in the sky doesn't lie. So if you have a bad practice, I want to know why I had a bad practice. If I had a good practice, I want to capitalize on that and be able to, continue those good practices. So, film study, I think, was my biggest tool in having success at the safety spot thus far.
Okay. Just being comfortable and obviously if you're being comfortable in where you're playing and you understand the position, you're going to be out there playing with more confidence and you'll likely be playing better overall. And it sounds as if, back in 2013 as a freshman, you're kind of playing that nickel defensive back / linebacker position. It sounds like Princeton was kind of had a heads up over the NFL on that rover type linebacker position that we see, Dorian Buchanan of the Arizona Cardinals running, and we're starting to see a lot more players and teams use that position nowadays. Just a couple more questions for you, Dorian, and then I'll let you go. Really do appreciate you taking some time this evening. Obviously, here at the NFL Draft Bible, we're big on the NFL Draft, and in the 2016 NFL Draft, your teammate Seth DeValve was drafted in the 4th round by the Cleveland Browns. I was familiar with him heading into the draft, but I know a lot of people who weren't, and he was probably the first player that was taken off the board that many people weren't very familiar with. Just talk about what it was like to go up against an NFL caliber wide receiver / now tight end in practice every day.
Well, I know the first thing that I noticed about Seth is that he works super hard. So freshman year when I came in during the summer, and I had no clue kind of like who were the good players, what was going on. But I don't know, I lined up next to Seth, and I was like, all right, I'm going to run with this guy. I don't know who this guy is, but I'm going to run with him. And I think he pushes you to a different level. So that's just one character. That's like one character trait that he has. But, playing against him is just a different beast. He's a very, very, very talented player, very, very strong. And like I said, just very dedicated to what he does. He sheds his light. He tries to spread his knowledge on the entire team, and it's something I really admire. He's found a way to success, and he tries to bring others with him. So that's one good thing that I like about him. But like you said, as a player, you can see it if you watch film. Just when he's in the game, it's a different game. Our offense it just has an extra level. When he's not in, our offense stalls a little bit this past season. But when he was in, you would see just explosive plays, and you would see big things happen because he's such a threat. Defenses need to account for him, even going against him. I know my sophomore year we did one-on-ones against him, and me and him lined up against each other, and I probably never felt so defeated after a drill, just because he got a hold of me and he just destroyed me, and that was just a mind. It was humbling. Like, well, I stood up and I was like, all right, like, obviously I'm not as good as I think I am. So that just, I mean, like I said, he pushes you to another level that you don't think you have. So great player, great guy. Proud of him, and I'm excited to see what he's going to do in the season or in the NFL, because I think he's going to make some noise.
Oh yeah, and drafted in the 4th round for a reason against Seth DeValve of the Cleveland Browns now. And Dorian, one of the go ahead.
Oh yeah, also being a Browns fan, I love it. From Cleveland. So.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Well, it's been tough enough for you guys, so at least you got something to look up on. All right, so that's you know that's good. That's good. That's awesome. Well, Dorian, one of the first words that come to my mind when I think of when I think of Princeton football is tradition. I mean, I'm sure you already know this, but I know many people may not realize that Princeton University has the oldest football program in the entire country, and there's really a ton of history when it comes to the Princeton Tigers football team. Does that make you even more proud to represent the orange and black, just knowing how much success the program has had in its existence?
Oh, absolutely. Just the Princeton football team is something. It's a family. Once you enter it, you're never getting out of it. It's like you see so many alum come back. You get emails from alum when you win. You get so much support, like so much outside support from the alumni. It's like when you put on that jersey, there's just a sense of pride. You know, like you walk down, we have a little like Hall of Fame on. You walk down and you see how old and how long like the tradition has been, and when you put the jersey on, you just feel like you're truly a part of something a lot bigger than kind of just the football that you're playing. That's a big thing that we pride, like the whole not having the whole playing for like the name on the front of the jersey, not the back, and that's completely true with Princeton. The stripes on our shoulders that we wear is the 4 stripes that we've always worn forever. It's something that we will never get rid of in our uniforms because, again, it ties back to the tradition of playing for Princeton, and it is a pride thing. And when you think about how many great people went through Princeton and how old the tradition is, it's something special. And every time you win, every time you're with the guys, you know, you're like, guys, it's something we're going to have forever. It's a tradition. You're going to be back. I'm going to come back and watch games when I graduate. It's just something that, like, I don't know, you're part of it now. Yeah, like I said, the tradition is unreal.
Yeah, tons of tradition, tons of history there with the Princeton Tigers and really the Ivy League as a whole. I mean, you can go Princeton, Dartmouth, Yale, Harvard, etc. I mean, just the entire Ivy League as a whole. I mean, something legendary right there. And again, we are just a little over 2 months away from the start of your guys' season. Dorian, we really appreciate you taking some time this evening, and certainly wishing you all the best as you suit up for the Princeton Tigers for one last season. Any final words?
Yeah, just tune in. It's going to be a good season. Don't count us out. Princeton's going to be making some noise this year, I promise. Thanks.
Hey, looking forward to it. There he goes, the standout safety out of Princeton University, Dorian Williams. In case you missed it, a couple days ago, I released my preseason All-FCS team on NFLDraftBible.com, and I had Dorian on my second-team All-FCS. Really a stud of a safety, big-time playmaker, and normally that kind of talent is a first-team type player, but this year's senior defensive backs in the FCS, both back and safety, is stacked. So anyway, special thanks to Dorian Williams, the standout safety out of Princeton, for calling in tonight. As always, I'm your host, Chris Shanafelt, for the NFL Draft Bible, bringing you the names that you need to know first since 2002. Visit NFLDraftBible.com. Until next time, thanks for tuning in.
Go ahead, get weird with your workout. Like whacking tires with a sledgehammer weird. Like riding a stationary bike in a pool weird. Like running a race with a bunch of zombies chasing you weird. Apparently that's a thing. Get weird with your workout, but not with your protein. Always recover smart with organic fuel from Organic Valley. 26 grams of organic protein and 0 weird ingredients. Get your fuel on at drinkorganicfuel.com.